An offseason of potential trade rumors continue for the NFL. Deebo Samuel, the latest player who certainly seems primed to be dealt or at least moved on from by San Francisco. The Niners have granted Deebo permission to seek a trade, which he apparently requested after the season ended per ESPN's Adam Schefter. So predictions before we break down the contract stuff, Deebo's outlook, and the top destinations. Where will Deebo Samuel play in 2025? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Deebo told Adam Schefter this about his trade request. It was a hard conversation to have with Kyle because of the relationship that we have, but I have to do what's best. I'm more than thankful for the Niners giving me the opportunity of a lifetime, but now I think it's best that we find another team. Deebo's production has declined since he got paid, and that is a reason why the Niners are more willing to move on from Deebo Samuel after, especially this year, was really disappointing. He made comments about not getting the football enough, and then battle drops. And that combination is never a particularly good one. You may have saw the photo of him at the Super Bowl where he looked a little bit too much like my belly than I think maybe he should be looking like, given the incredible athlete that he is, make no mistake, as a, at times, dual threat runner and receiver. Now, what is tricky and complicated here is the Deebo Samuel contract. His current cap hit right now for San Francisco is $15.83 million. He has an option bonus that is due on March 22nd that is worth $15.43 million. That is already a heavy factor into his current cap hit. But the way it's spaced out, the Niners wouldn't pay all of that this year. It would be spaced out over some void years on his contract. It would bring the dead money in 2026 on Deebo's deal to $32.75 million. Now, what they would probably do is either extend him or post June 1st that contract in advance and not take all the cap hit in 1 year. But what they could do is trade him, save what really amounts to $17.75 million in cash this year, eat $15.25 million extra cap space in the trade savings bucket, and take all the big dead cap hit this year of $31.02 million. That would save a little bit of money over the course of 2 years, but also, more importantly, save significant amounts of money in cash this year. A team that trades for Deebo Samuel would owe him, in between his base salary, which is the vet minimum, the option bonus of 15 and change, and workout bonus and per game roster bonus and stuff, about $17.55 million. That's a lot of money for a player who didn't have his best stuff the last couple seasons, and for a Niners team that is probably unlikely to eat any more money because they could simply post-June 1st cut him if they wanted to. So what will the Niners end up doing with Deebo? I think all three options are actually on the table here. T for they trade him, K for they keep him and they do, have it ride for one more year, or C for they cut him. Go vote the pinned comment of today's show. Let's move then to Deebo Samuel trade destinations. Different than the Cooper Kupp one, there's some overlap involved here because certain teams need a receiver and have a bunch of salary cap space. Let's go to number 8, though. The New York Football Giants, only doing 8 this time, not 10, by the way. I've seen the way that the Giants have used Wan'Dale Robinson. I think Deebo can be a better version of that. Offers more after the catch and not just pure short yardage stuff there. They are desperate to win games. They have to, or that regime's going to get fired. So they might be more aggressive than other teams would be in a similar situation. Otherwise, the GM and head coach might all get fired. Number 7, the Raiders. I am curious to see what Chip Kelly could do with Deebo Samuel. It's not the same offense he ran back at his primes in Oregon with the Anthony Thomas, and even in Philadelphia. He's adjusted his offense, which I think is a good thing as the game changes. But the Raiders have plenty of cap space. They need a receiver. Would they argue Trey Tucker, though, is actually a better fit in the slot than maybe Deebo Samuel, especially once you factor in the contract cost of it all? Now, today's show is made possible by Z-Biotics. Z-Biotics is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that is to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme designed to break this byproduct down. Remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Whether you were enjoying the big game and had maybe a few too many out on Bourbon Street, or maybe you're just like me, you're getting up there in age and you can't hang the way you used to, Z-Biotics can help you out. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports or scan the QR code on screen right now to get 15% off your order when you use code CHATSPORTS at checkout. You can also get a subscription using the code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or the occasion. ZBiotics, 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code CHATSPORTS at checkout, 15% off your order. A big thank you to ZBiotics for sponsoring this episode and our good times. Number 6, the Washington Commanders. I haven't seen Cliff really get overly credited with motion and stuff. Maybe it's not the best fit for Deebo as a result, but they could use a wide receiver. They are an aggressive win-now team. They are led on draft picks. That's a red flag, but they've got plenty of cap space to make a potential trade work if they wanted to. Number 5, the LA Chargers, who are going to get linked to a lot of wide receivers in this offseason because they could use somebody beyond Ladd McConkey. It's a fun duo. It's a after-catch duo, but I do question if there's some overlap there in the slot. Ladd can play on the outside, I think, more than he's given credit for at times, but I do wonder if it's enough pure outside receiver working from those two there. And would Greg Roman use him creatively enough? I think the run game focus in LA fits Deebo to an extent because you want to have that option on jet motions and stuff, but I do wonder if it's a perfect fit. Now, if you want more NFL trade news and rumors and destinations, updates, draft, and everything else in between, you're in the right spot. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/chatsportstv. Number 4, the Baltimore Ravens. They are close to getting over the hump. And a couple years ago, I think a lot of Ravens fans would have loved to gotten Deebo. The money, I think, is going to be an issue here. I do think Deebo Samuel in the slot, allowing Zay Flowers to operate more downfield, Rashad Bateman kind of doing everything. I think that fits really well, actually, as a trio. But the money and just the current version of Deebo should raise some red flags. Number 3, the Houston Texans. Now, the Texans, they're sticking in that similar style offense. They are not drastically changing things in terms of the Shanahan-McVay style going to Nick Cali, the former Rams passing game coordinator, tight ends coach. So I do think, especially with Tank Dell hurt, I do think Deebo ends up being a pretty good fit here. The issue for them, the cap space is a little bit tight. So I want you guys to rank Deebo Samuel among NFL backs for me. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Number 2, the Denver Broncos. Now, I don't know if Deebo actually fits that joker role that Sean Payton has made public comments about finding a way to get. That's typically more of a running back or a tight end. Think, the lesser version of Taysom, but also like Jimmy Graham, the tight ends that have had success under Sean Payton, guys that can catch and block. I do think that Sean Payton could do some similar stuff and have some creative stuff with Deebo Samuel, especially if at this point in his career, Deebo is willing to be a little bit more involved in the running game and be more of a pure back than he's been at times, although he was at one point in San Francisco, but he kind of became a pure receiver. Is he open to doing more pure back stuff out of the backfield? That could be a great fit for Sean Payton. Either way, I think he fits very well as a receiver with Courtland Sutton. But at number 1, and this truly should surprise not a single soul out there, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They get linked to every wide receiver on the market because of course they do. They need to. They don't have enough outside of George Pickens, and I think to an extent Pickens is kind of in shaky ground in Pittsburgh with all of the everything that he offers at times from a good and bad standpoint there. The Steelers need receiver help. They were linked to Deebo last offseason, the first time we did all these trade rumors. They're certainly going to be a prime destination this time around. They have the cap space. They're probably not going to spend big-time money on a quarterback, so they can be a bit more aggressive with the remaining parts of their roster there. So whether it is with a release or a trade, I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers very much stand out as a potential destination for Deebo Samuel. We'll see how that develops over the course of really a month and a half at most, given his option bonus is due in late March.